Hey everybody, this is Professor Triplet, and we're going to go over how to hand in your assignments, all the stuff that's required, and we'll talk a little bit about the labs as well and the attendance in the labs. So, let's get going. Alright, so this is very, very important. I just want to start off by saying that because you're going to need to hand in these things properly in order to get full credit for them. And there's certain things like if you don't hand in your Maya file, you get 0 credit, or basically your project folder with your Maya file. If you don't hand in a link, I can't check your work because I can't look at it online because I'm not going to open up every other file. I only do that if I need to check stuff within your file, but I generally try to just check it online. So just to let you know that there are things that will disqualify your project from even being checked, so make sure you follow these directions explicitly. All right, so first of all, I'm just going to use this as an example file. This is a little sandcastle that I actually got from photogrammetry. I used my Sony camera and took a bunch of pictures of this little sandcastle that my mom has and did this little thing of it. This thing's been around since I was a little kid, so I just thought I was trying to experiment and see like how fine of the grains will the photogrammetry get, and it did pretty decent. But I will have to say that I added some of the bumpiness to it myself. In ZBrush, I did a little trick to get some more bumpiness because it didn't quite get all the grains. Anyway, that's this project. But let's just assume this is your first assignment that you're handing in, which would be your website and putting your signature up onto Sketchfab. So let's first do the signature thing. When you hand in your assignments, you're going to import your signature. So you just go to import and you go find your signature wherever that might be. If you haven't done your signature yet and you're already watching this, that will be part of this week's assignment, but it is in the list of videos. So anyway, let's go and look for, what am I looking for? Scenes. And then I have it down here. Okay, signature OBJ. So I go import, and it's telling me like, okay, so it's huge. I may at some point like scale that down so I don't have to deal with the hugeness of it. But I want to have a signature in here just like an artist would that shows off their work, says who they are. Okay, so I'm going to do something like that. Okay, I got my signature, I got my object, I'm going to select the two of them, I'm going to go File, Export Selection. So I want to have just what I want exported going out because otherwise the files get bigger and bigger. And I'll go up, oh, I missed the sandcastle, there we go. And I'm actually going to export it with my source into my source images folder, and I'm going to name it the proper naming convention, which would be, let's see, for this I'm going to pretend it's a signature. So we're going to say week 1 underscore signature underscore triplet underscore Dan. So the rest of the assignments, they'll always be named whatever the official assignment name is, like week 5, I don't know what it is in week 5, and then the name of the assignment, and then your last name and then first name. So that's how you do it. I'm just ad-libbing this one. So I'm going to say export selection. It's going to export these two things. And so now if I go into my folder here, you can see this is where my signature folder is. I would take these 3 things. These are the textures on it. I would display some texture, and or it's really just about map and a color map. And I would right click on these and just go send to compressed zip folder. That is not the proper name that I want, but that's okay. I'll let it be that for a second. And then I'll go Control C. Actually, this doesn't matter so much because you're uploading this to Sketchfab. What matters is the one that's actually getting handed in, which we'll take care of that in a second. Okay, so now I've got that taken care of. And I can load this up into Sketchfab. So let's go over to Sketchfab. Let's see here. I got my Sketchfab. I'm going to go upload. Grab that. Hopefully this works the way I think it's supposed to work, and the textures will come in and stuff like that, so I won't have to do much work with it. Let's see. Maya projects. It's in here. Grab this, open, and that looks right. Continue. And this is from photogrammetry. Like that. I might make this free. I don't know. Maybe I will. Let's see. We can put in tags. We could say sandcastle. We could say, yeah, that's good enough. And it's still going to take a second, so I'll pause the video. When it's done, I'll start it back up. Okay, the transfer just finished. My internet's slow, that's why it's like that. Yours is probably a lot faster, and you won't have that problem. So now it's processing. Okay, so let me jump off to another thing first. So while that's processing, let's jump out and let's look at where you would zip your file to hand into to Blackboard. So you want the whole project file. So you can see I'm in Maya projects, and then after you've learned how to set up your project files, you're going to want the whole project file. For the first week, just handing in the Maya file will be good enough. But after that, you're going to have to hand in the whole project file. And so you would take this whole project file and then just do the same process. Go compress zip folder. Make sure it's named. This is where the name is going to count. So here, that's what the name needs to be. Okay, so you got to have the name properly, like so. And this is from the video. You can see I have another zip file there. That's from a video that I did on how to zip your folders and stuff like that. So you might be watching that later too. But anyway, this is going to be handed into Blackboard for your for credit. You have to have that in there, otherwise you don't get credit. So okay, where are we at? Let's go back here. Hey, look at that! It turned out pretty good. Wow, actually looks really good. Nice. All right, so now that I got that in there, of course I'm not going to go into like tweaking everything because I've done that in other videos. But you wanna go ahead and save the view and play with the lighting and stuff like that. And, make it look nice. You need to make it free to keep uploading stuff. So otherwise, if you don't make it free, then that's not going to work. I think for this one, actually, I'm going to publish this one without being free. Because I have 1 credit left, so I don't want to give this away just yet. But anyway, what you need to do, let's actually do this. We'll go publish. All right, great. And then this is a copy. This will copy the actual link, but we don't really need the link. What we need is the embed code. So let me refresh this. I think it's usually right here, but sometimes there it goes. Yeah, I need to refresh it. Okay, so you can see right now there's this embed thing right here. We just click on that and click on that. So once you click in here, it copies it to the clipboard. And then you would go to your website. So this is my website. This is with the creator stuff open. And so I will drop this into, I don't know. So I've got all these videos. This video is going to be on the home page. So I've got all these videos here on the home page. So I'll just go ahead and drop it here at the end. And what you need to do is grab, there's a thing called embed in here. And did I miss it? I probably missed it. It's a little late, so the eyes are getting tired at this point. Been looking at the computer a lot. So edit. So you just see, if you see what I just did, I just clicked on the edit, and then you just paste that in there, and then click outside of it, and bada bing, bada boom, there's your Sketchfab thing. I like it to lay out in the middle, personally. So now, after that, you can hit publish, and this is the actual, so this is the actual website. This is the creator. You don't want to give me, when you hand in, you're going to hand in a link to your website. You don't want to give this. Don't give this Weebly .main. Everyone's will look like that then. You have to actually give your actual website address. And so if you want to know what that is, let me close this. You can go to settings if you don't know, and it's right here. Okay, so you would want to go to this, and then so whatever week you're on, and I'll teach you how to do the weeks as well in the same video. So whatever week you're on, you're going to copy that, and that's going to be what you're going to paste into Blackboard. But anyway, so now we've got this up here. Let me come here and go to home. So this is how you would show that you got your work up on time. So you would go like this. You would go to like your home page. Well, it wouldn't be your home page. Whatever page you've uploaded your assignment on, you would go to, and then you would take a screen capture of this. So I'm going to bring up my snipping tool, and you probably can't see it, but if you type into your bar snipping, this should come up. They have a new one here. I actually like the old one better. So anyway, you just click that, and then you just drag marquee this out. So make sure that when it snips it, you get this here. You want to make sure you get that. Like I said, not the Weebly one, your actual website one, and make sure we can see your work. If you know what I'm saying, make sure you can see that, and that should be good. And then what you do is save this. Now Weebly's gonna it's gonna at first. The snipping tool is going to want to put it as a PNG. Please change it to JPEG because JPEGs just work better. So I'm going to go here to, I'm going to just keep these all in the same file. Really doesn't matter where to save this at this point, but just trying to be neat. So I'm going to say save. Okay. So that's saved out because I've got to put this up on Blackboard. I apologize that you guys have to go through all this, but the problem is that people have different labs on different days, so I have to have proof that people handed everything in when they were supposed to. So okay, next step. We've got that. Oh, okay, so before I leave here, I'm going to go ahead and copy the URL, Control C, and that's going to be of the page that you know, like if you're on week, let's go to week 4. If it's week 4 or whatever, it's going to be on week 4, and you would copy that URL. And you're going to go to Blackboard. So I already got Blackboard open. This is what your Blackboard should look similar to, and I'm going to go into week 1 because that's what we're handing in right now. And then I need to hand this in, so I click on that, and all right, so it's going to say write submission. Okay, you need to click on this one because I want these hyperlinked. So I'm going to paste that in, and you can see the hyperlink already came in, which is great. But if it didn't come in, and it was like this is my other website. If I could spell. All right, so if it was like this, just copy that, and then highlight the text and go to this link. You paste that link in, and then make sure it opens a new window. That's just for our convenience. And let's see. Oh, okay. So I didn't have the HTTP this part, so it's complaining about that. Let me just double check this. If I highlight this, I can break that. And so you want to make sure that you get the whole thing in there. We'll do that, and then I'll just get rid of the www and put in that part like that. So that should be right. And now do that, and then insert. Okay, so it didn't complain that time. Okay, so if I hit that, well, you gotta submit it first. So now I've got the hyperlink there. Okay, then you need to attach your file, right? So you need to go in, and this is the Sketchfab one. I don't need the Sketchfab one. What I need is the actual project file, which should be down here and should be named appropriately. So say open, and for me this will probably take a minute because my computer's really slow. Or, well, the computer's fast, it's the internet slow. So now we've got that zip there. That's great. And then one last thing. So one last thing is to upload the image that we saved off. So I saved that image into here, into source images, and it's called capture, and hit open. So there's 3 main things that you're handing in, okay? The capture, the zip file, of your whole project and the URL link hyperlinked. Okay, make sure it's hyperlinked, and then you hit submit. All right, everything finished uploading, and now you can see we've got all these things in here. Obviously, zip file. You should be able to just click on the JPEG, and it'll just load up. That's the JPEG that we did, and then the submission text is here. You can tell it's hyperlinked. Please hyperlink it. You will lose points if you don't. It's just a professional thing to do for people around you. So this is basically what it would look like, and then I could download this zip file, and it has the Maya file in there. All right, so that's that part. So in your Weebly site, if you go to pages, all right, we're gonna go and look at the list of pages. Okay, so you can see right there I was under home. If you click on it, you can change the name. It's got a few different options. I typically just make the name whatever I want it to be, and you can see this is right here. So if I go back, look, it's the first one on the list, and then about is the second, contact is the third, so on and so forth. All the way till you get to CGT116, you get to here, and then this one actually has a drop down. So how does that work? So let me go here, we'll go to CGT116. Okay, it's actually going to take you there. Let me just scoot back here. I can make a new page, so we'll just do this, and we'll say standard page, and I'll call it test, and then we'll say done. Now, it's going to put test all the way in the bottom of the list, which means that it's way down here. What I can do is drag this up to CGT116, and if you notice, what I did is I make sure I pull it to the side a little bit so it's indented. I can actually nest this under week 2 if I even wanted to. So I can go like this, week 2, and then there's test. That's not what I really want to do. So I'm just going to pull it back over a little bit. So now you can see test is right there. Okay, so we don't really want test, so I'm just going to delete it. Hit delete, delete. Okay, so we're good. That's how you add in a page and nest it underneath the other pages, and you should be good to go with that. All right, and let's see, what else do we have to talk about? We did the embed. And okay, okay, I didn't show this part. One last thing. So let's, for instance, let's say that we had a reference for this or whatever, and we were supposed to hand that in. The way you can do that is with the slideshow. You can just pull a slideshow in here, like so, and you can pick any of these slideshows. I don't really care. I personally prefer the ones that have, like, I like this one or this one. I like those. These are fine too. These I don't like so much because you don't know that there's other images there, but I like it when you can see the other images, so you know that you can flip through it. So anyway, I don't want to keep that there, but let's see what happened to it. I don't know. It'll be fine. All right, so let me go ahead and just hit publish, and it should all be good. Close that. And of course, you would have to like hit F5 to refresh your screen if you want to see your changes. So when I work, I usually, if I'm putting stuff up online, I usually have like my Weebly creator open and then the actual web page open so that I can see the changes afterwards. All right, let's talk about labs. Okay, last thing. I know this is getting long. I want to try to make this under 20. So it's really important that you come to labs and that you put in at least like 2 hours of work in lab every week. You're going to have to work more than that. This class does require a bit of work, and it's a lot of trial type work because you're basically going into like a new like imagine you're a mechanic and you walked into a new shop with all new tools. So you're gonna have to learn how to use these new tools. But guess what? You haven't even been to mechanic school yet. So now it's gonna be a good amount of noodling around. Nothing in here is super advanced, but it does take some time to get used to what you're doing. That being said, what's going to happen is the TAs are going to come around, and within the last half hour of class in the lab, they're going to check off 1, that you're there, so that you'll get an attendance grade, and 2, they will look at your Blackboard and make sure that you have a hyperlinked URL that was handed in, that you that you handed in the zipped project file, and that there's a screen capture of the work that you did. Now, these have to be handed in. All the due dates are basically on Mondays at 12 p.m. So they always will be handed in on Mondays at 12 p.m. But the TA will mark off that they saw your work was up there at that point. You will lose points if you don't have stuff done correctly. If you don't have like a Maya file up there or a link, if you don't have a Maya file up there, you will not get credit for your work at all. And if you don't have a link up there, I will not do my additional checking and give you the extra points for having for your effort and accomplishment that you do above and beyond the 70 points you get for just handing everything in. Okay, so you, by the way, you can also you can lose off of that 70 points if you don't complete the assignment properly, so just be aware of that. I basically had the TAs kind of check the technical aspects of to make sure everything was in, and I check the effort that you put in. So I don't leave it on a TA to make those determinations. I think that's my job to do. So that's how we work. But if you don't go to labs, you don't even get those grades. The best you can get is if you handed in everything on time, but you couldn't make it to lab. If you have documentation for some real reason why that happened, we'll talk about it at that point. But other than that, you can only get up to 35 points for handing everything in if you don't attend lab, because I want everybody to go to lab, and I want by the end of lab you should have at least a file started for your next project, so that the TAs, as they're walking around, they can see that you have a file started, even if you haven't actually done anything in the file. It should be like named and saved out in a project name, the project folder set up and stuff like that. Okay, so that's, I know it's a lot to take in for one class, but once you get used to the process, you'll be fine. But this class can be a lot of fun, so please try to enjoy this and be creative, and really just dig down deep into your expression, your creativity, and make some really neat stuff. So thanks for watching, and any questions, please come and ask.